And now let's catch up with our next candidate who's running for the September 14 local government elections here in the Clarence Valley as we welcome to the program in James Allan. James, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Damien.
You're former president of the Yamba Chamber of Commerce. You're a business owner of 2 local cafes. Why are you running for council now?
Yeah, I just figured I had too much spare time on my hands. With a 3-month-old baby at home as well, I've just got way too much spare time. No, like you said, I've been with the Chamber of Commerce for many years and as its president for a few years as well. And I enjoy engaging with the community, and I'm a person that possesses a pretty strong sense of sort of civic duty. I want to do all I can to make my community all it can be, for the people that live here now and for generations in the future.
So tell us about James Allan. Where do you come from and who makes up the family?
Yeah, so born and bred in Inverell, which I'm sure residents of this region are familiar with, just across the range. I moved away to Brisbane. I did some backpacking before that. Moved to Brisbane for uni and to live in the city a while. And then about 6 years ago, the opportunity to buy a cafe in Yamba came up, and the family and I jumped on it and haven't looked back since. So
it was obviously a good buy?
It was a good buy. We expected a little bit more leisurely sipping coffee, reading newspapers, and got a very busy, bustling sort of scene. But since we bought the first one, we bought a second one about 2 years ago, and it's been great, rewarding. And like I said, it's a family business, and it's been great to be with the family again and working together.
The local government area of Clarence Valley Council is a huge area, and everyone has acknowledged that. Do you feel, being a resident of Yamba, you're the forgotten people down in the lower river compared to those in Grafton? Is there an us and them situation, do you think?
I think there is a little, I'd probably call it friendly competition between towns in the region. But I do feel from the perspective of council, Yamba has been forgotten about a bit. If elected, I'd like to see Yamba paid more attention to, and the main streets and the maintenance of the infrastructure be paid more attention to, and given more resources and funding. So it does feel sometimes like Yamba has been forgotten about a bit, but that's an easy fix.
Yeah. And obviously, having 17 councillors going up for election, you've obviously seen the people that are going. Do you think that you could work with all of those people if any of those were elected?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely a team sort of player. I respect people and their opinions, and one thing I love doing is just talking to people and learning all I can from as many different types of people as I can. When I worked in the city in Brisbane, I had a bit of a habit of just sort of chatting to random old dudes on park benches, and I found out some incredible things from doing that. So I value everybody's opinion and treat everybody as intelligent humans. And I've met most of the candidates, and they seem like a really great bunch. So I'm confident I can work with anyone.
You said you've been here for 6 years, so you've seen sort of the whole process that has gone through. You've been through the floods, you've been through the fires and COVID and so forth. But you've also seen the process of the community centre in Dreamlands Drive. What's your opinion on the whole process? And is Yamba Canning right being upset about the whole process, do you think? Is there a reason to be upset, or was it transparent enough?
So in the lead up to this election, I've been told a lot of things and had a lot of opinions from people about how things were handled. And to be honest, I'd need to sort of I'd need to get the facts in front of me and look at exactly what was released to the public, what was communicated to the public, and what was accurate and what wasn't. But it is my understanding that there wasn't due consultation. There wasn't the real interaction with community that was needed, and that there was some issues with transparency when it came to that project.
Does Yamba need a new community centre?
Something that I denied about, the money that was required to build it, and obviously the big project that it is, whether a community centre was what Yamba needed most with those resources, I'm not sure. Time will tell as to when it's built and when we see its uses. So I'm not sure that it was what the community really needed.
What could the amount of money have been spent better on if it wasn't funded? Because obviously it was blurred funding, so council applied for the funding for that particular project. But if they could get the $18 million or $11 million and spend it somewhere else, where should they have spent that money on, do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be done to beautify Yamba and to make Yamba a real jewel of the Clarence Valley, because let's be honest, it is the tourist jewel of the valley. And there's so many competing towns up and down the New South Wales coast that holidaymakers and people looking to move and start businesses can potentially go to other than Yamba. So we need to really focus on staying competitive and making sure that our coastal towns are as beautiful as they deserve to be. Things like vehicle-less transport options, walkways, bike paths, that sort of stuff. There's a lot of things that money could have been used on.
You mentioned about tourism. Does council need to do a lot more with tourism?
Yeah, I don't think council can rest on their laurels. I think post-COVID we saw a real boom in tourism, where we just had this massive demand for people wanting to move to Yamba and also to visit Yamba. And that was huge and not entirely expected. But since then we've seen a drop. And I don't think business owners and I don't think the council can get complacent when it comes to making sure that we attract and retain tourists, because they're very, very important to so many people in this region.
What about the Wesley Yamba development and the building on the floodplains? What's your opinion there?
Yeah, again, that's something that I need to look into a little bit more and really sort of have the facts presented to me in a simple sort of way. Because obviously with something like that, there's a lot of engineering that needs to be done in order to determine whether that's an appropriate place to build and develop. So if it turns out that is a floodplain and building and developing there is going to flood residents, I mean, that's just not on, and council hasn't done their due diligence before approving that. If that turns out to be the case, that's a big failure.
You said you've got a young family. How does the family and I suppose your staff feel about you running for council? If you're elected, you've got two businesses, young family, will you be able to spare the time or manage your time, I should say?
Yeah, so my family and my staff, who many of them I consider family, they're all very supportive. They all, I mean, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that, they see me as a bit of a leader. So they're very supportive, and especially my family. They're just they're great. We get along great, and they'll support anything I do. But I'm used to devoting time to community projects and things like that with the Chamber of Commerce. So I'll take a little bit less time at the cafes, maybe 1 day a week less at the cafes in order to do my duty. But I'm used to dedicating my spare time to community projects. So I think as a councillor, I'll just have a little bit more of an ability to really get things done. With Chamber of Commerce is a great organisation, and it's something that councils need to support. But when you're running a committee of volunteers that all have businesses to run, it can be challenging to get things done. And we just do what we can.
Yeah. What's one thing that you are sort of standing on to take to council should we be elected? I know that you've got to have the support of 5 other councillors or the majority to get anything passed, but is there one particular project or system you'd like to see changed if you get elected?
Yeah, so I'd like to see better efficiency with council, whether it be in dealing with residents, people wanting to build, people wanting to do the right kind of development, or the way they deal with businesses. Things just take too long. And I know this is a problem with councils all over the place, but to me it doesn't make sense to take 2 years to approve the building of a townhouse, or we've had many incidents with during my time at the chamber where a business is looking for advice or an approval or a permit or something like that, and it's just taken weeks and weeks. Return phone calls have been promised and not happened, and all that time businesses are sitting on their hands and losing money, and they just can't afford that, especially in today's sort of current business climate. So I'd like to see that. Also, I'd like to see council improve the way they communicate with the entire community. At the moment, it seems to be a very small section of the community that council communicates with. So if I'm elected, I'd like to work with my fellow councillors in order to come up with a new solution to involve our whole community in processes that they should be involved in.
Do you have any ideas on how to do that?
I think we need to use social media, digital digital media in conjunction with traditional media, and just showing leadership as a council and being present. Being present in our community, showing leadership, and just inspiring people to engage with their council, because people should be enthusiastic about that. They should want to engage with their local government because it affects them more than the state or the federal guys.
All right. Well, September 14th is coming up on Saturday. You ready for the long haul to election day?
I am. Yeah, I'm ready for it. It's been a long haul already. Like I said, I've got a 3-month-old at home, so it's been a challenge to fulfil all these obligations and answer everyone's questions and things like that. But I enjoy this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoy engaging with people, and I enjoy listening to my fellow sort of citizens.
All right. Well, good luck on September 14th. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Damien.